Jesus left that place and went away to the district of Tyre and Sidon. Just then a Canaanite woman from that region came out and started shouting, "Have mercy on me, Lord, Son of David. My daughter is tormented by a demon." But he did not answer her at all. And his disciples came and urged him, saying, "Send her away, for she keeps shouting after us." He answered, "I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." But she came and knelt before him, saying, "Lord, help me." He answered, "It is not fair to take the children's food and throw it to the dogs." She said, "Yes, Lord, yet even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table." Then Jesus answered her, "Woman, great is your faith. Let it be done for you as you wish." And her daughter was healed instantly. The encounter of the Canaanite woman and Jesus is one of the few passages in the Gospels where Jesus can, on first hearing or reading, seem a little rude and dismissive. At first he ignores her, and then he seems to mock and taunt her, someone who in their pain and suffering has come to seek his help. Jesus even calls the woman a dog, a common Jewish insult for Gentiles at the time. But as with many gospel stories, there is much more to this encounter than that, and it is an encounter which speaks to us directly about how we treat those around us and how we engage with God. To understand what is going on in this short passage, we have to listen very carefully to what is being said and think more deeply about why it is being said. The first important moment is what the Canaanite woman says to begin with. She finds Jesus and his disciples and pleads, "Have mercy on me, Lord, Son of David. My daughter is tormented by a demon." The woman was clearly in great distress about the health of her daughter, but she was also very brave. We cannot underestimate how hard it must have been for her to go and seek the help of someone outside her own community. Indeed, the Canaanite woman was seeking the help of someone she would have perceived as being prejudiced against her. The disciples' reaction is important too. They say to Jesus, "Send her away, for she keeps shouting after us." It seems that the disciples just want rid of her. But the word that disciples use actually means to send away satisfied. So the disciples are not necessarily shunning her, but telling Jesus to cure her daughter so that she would stop bothering them. We can hear a little of their frustration and annoyance with her persistence. We can also see that they think the curing of her daughter will be the curing of her badgering them too. When we come to the central conversation between Jesus and the Canaanite woman, that is the moment where everything changes. At first, Jesus appears to dismiss her, saying, "I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." Jesus seems to be playing to type, being the person that the Canaanite woman thinks that he, as a Jewish teacher, would be. But regardless, she remains undaunted and persists, asking him again to help her. He replies again, "It is not fair to take the children's food and throw it to the dogs." Again, Jesus is playing to type, playing the person that she is expecting him to be. But perhaps Jesus said it with something of a wry smile, because the woman retorts quickly, "Yes, Lord, yet even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall under their master's table." This can almost come across as a bit of banter between Jesus and the Canaanite woman, a bit of witty sparring with plays on words, but it is what happens through this that is important. Jesus does not simply fulfill her request, which he could have done. Jesus could have done exactly as the disciples had asked. He could have cured the woman's daughter and have been rid of her persistent pleading. That in itself would have been a wondrous and merciful act. But Jesus desires more than that. The miracle should not just be a physical change, a change from illness to health, but it should bring about a change in her heart, her mind, and her soul. By talking to her and engaging with her, he brings out the deep faith that was clearly within her, and he changes her. We hear no more of the woman or of her daughter, but we can easily imagine the change and the impact that encounter must have had on them both. That conversation brought about real change within her, and that's what Jesus wants for all of us. This episode has much to talk to us about the way we engage with people who are different to us. People who are not Christians often have an impression about what Christians are like, and quite often the view is that the Christians are judgmental and unaccepting of difference. We, like Jesus, should also show people that that is not who we are or what the central Christian message is all about. It does also mean that we need to be very aware of how it is that we treat people who are outside of our community. But Jesus' encounter with the Canaanite woman also teaches us about the need for a real change within ourselves. Jesus saw embers of faith within the Canaanite woman's heart, and through his interaction with her, he fanned it until it burned and glowed brightly. God may not answer all our prayers, but through prayer we are drawn into the love of God. And when we are drawn into the love and grace of God, we are changed forever and our faith is deepened. When our faith is deepened, we are, as the prophet Isaiah says, brought to God's holy mountain, where God will make us joyful in the house of prayer. God's holy mountain, God's joy and God's grace are open and freely given to all. May we all, like the Canaanite woman, be changed through our encounters with God in prayer, and brought to the holy mountain, the mountain of joy and grace. Amen.